All right, guys, for the first way that we are going to be rating these books for you, our first criteria is the star system. So this is going to be covering content, actual way that the book is written, that the kind of ease of the reading level kind of a thing. And I don't mean that as a you have to be dumb to read this or you have to be really smart to read this. I mean, is it well put together? How do they put the book together? You know, does it have a good flow? Does it make sense? Is it worthwhile? And the first star, which is the worst star actually, is that I couldn't finish it or I hated it. Now, I have to tell you, there's probably only been 2 books in my life that I've ever I could not finish it, that I hated it that much. So that goes to show most people don't get the worst star. Okay? The number 2 star is I did finish it, but it was not an enjoyable read. So unfortunately, I do have more books that fall into that category than 2 in my entire lifetime, but that way you know where I'm coming from. The third star system is good book, good read, good story, but I wasn't in love with it. So it doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with the book, the formatting, anything like that. It just means I didn't like it. You're welcome. Now you know. The 4th star means it was not perfect, but I did enjoy it. Now, that really has to do more with, like I said, good book, good story, good read. But there was still something. Does that make sense? And then the 5th star. 5. Means I couldn't put it down. I need to read more of this. I loved it. So unfortunately for me, and fortunately for y'all, I tend to have more books that fall into the 5-star range just because personally I love to read. I love a good book, and with as much rain as we've been having, I have been with my nose in a book or with an earbud in my ear listening to a book for a good chunk of the last couple weeks. Now, the second system, which is actually for maturity level. Now, this does not have to do with whether or not the content is good content or bad content. This has to do with who should be able to read the book, in our opinion, a Christian influencer inspired. And so, like I said, there will be books that will have material in it that are absolutely necessary topics for you to read about that might get a lower grade than something like the book that we're going to review after this. Does that make sense? Okay, so first grade is A. And if it's an A grade, it means it is all ages. It also means that you do not have to worry if your kids pop onto your Audible account or pop onto your, auditory, library? That's it. And they start listening to your book, or if they pick up the book themselves, there isn't really going to be anything that you're going to have to explain or feel worried if they understand, anything like that. So that is a grade A. The grade B rating I have as 13 plus, and I will be very specific with this. This includes mild content. So it might be 1 or 2 of these areas. Sorry, I had a spider on me, not gonna lie. That freaked me out real bad. So it might have 1 or 2 of these areas, but it is very mild, okay? So cultural conflict, inappropriate behavior, innuendo or sexualization, language, drug use, bullying, or hate speech or acts. Now, I do have a letter listing, so when we do these, I will try to put that in the description as well, so you can kind of scan the description if you want to know really quickly if somebody should be reading a book, yes or no. Now, I only say that it's a B rating, that it's the 13 plus age range, and this is up to you. You know the maturity level of your child. You know if they can handle certain things. You know if there are other areas that you need to have a conversation with them. And maybe that's true even if you're a youth leader, or maybe that's true even if you are, working with a small group of young women or teens, or you're running a Bible study. You need to know what the content is and to what conversations to kind of follow up with their reading. So this is supposed to give you a little bit of insight in that regard, just so you're thinking about, okay, I got a plan to have a follow-up conversation with them just to see where they're at. Now, the C rating is mature audiences only, as material has content that could be, not saying that it is, but it could be graphic or triggering, or covers a topic that cannot be fully explained without the attention to detail that is present. Does that make sense? Let me know in the comments if this makes sense for you. So in my criteria, it says has extended sections including one or more of the following: cultural conflict, inappropriate behavior, innuendo or sexualization, language, drug use, bullying, and hate speech or acts. Now, if there's any other criteria that you think I'm missing in those kind of areas, then please let me know so I can get those added and I can make better reviews for you, because this is about you. And the last one, and this is a D rating. Now, I need to tell you, there are going to be good books that have a C rating, because they are hitting on a topic that is necessary for us to hear about. It's necessary for us to be aware of, but it doesn't mean that they have taken it beyond and they're just trying to shock you, scare you, shut you down, that sort of thing. So, for instance, if you have a book about human trafficking, it's going to be a C, because there's going to be situations in there, probably language that's in there, behaviors that are in there that you're going to want to be aware of. Some people that have had certain things happen in their life, they should have the chance to know ahead of time if something might trigger them from their past. Okay? Trying to be sensitive, but not treat you like children. But it's okay to say you don't want to read something that has certain types of content in it. That's all right. Just don't assume that because it's a C, it's not a good book. Got it? Got it. All right. The last maturity level grade is a D, and this content has extensive graphic or triggering material without relevance to the storyline, or content is not necessarily adding value or perspective to the rest of the content in one or more of the following areas, which is cultural content, inappropriate behavior, innuendo or sexualization, language, drug use, bullying, or hate speech or acts. So these are the times when you hear somebody is developing a storyline, but they throw in all this other stuff that you just don't need to deal with necessarily. Got it? Okay. So I will be honest if it's a D, just so you're aware. All right, and then the last way that we are going to rate our books, and I promise this is coming to a close. I'll also have the cheat sheet in the description box below, and that way you don't have to read through or watch this entire video every time you want to look at our book reviews. But this is the purpose-driven influencer section of the rating system, and this is really letting you know other ways that I recommend the book to be utilized. This is a good way for you to quickly scan and see if it's something that can be used for a book club, a small group read, a mom's group read, a dad's group read, a men Bible study, teen Bible study, women Bible study, a read it and pass it on, Facebook group book club, or inspired action group, or faith and action group, or something like that, where you're taking this material and you're actually doing something with it. So you're reading it and you're using it in one or more areas to advance the kingdom, to grow yourself, to grow the people around you. Even if you're not a leader, it doesn't mean that just because you've read a book, there isn't something else that you can do with it. And I want to make sure you guys have the opportunity to do that. All right. I am so grateful that you watched this video and you made it all the way to the end. You guys are fantastic. Make sure you're looking for the contest that is below when we get to 1,000 subscribers. You know the drill. I'll go ahead and link that video as well, but like the video, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and let us know what books in the comments you would like us to review. Awesome. We'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.